Level 1. The listing. You are 24 and you have $211.44 in checking. The listing does not say what the job is. It says restoration technician. It says no experience necessary. It says $17 to $22 an hour, depending on experience, which is a sentence that only makes sense if you do not read it twice. It says must lift 50 pounds. It says must pass a background check. It says must have a valid driver's license and a phone that works. You have all 4 of those things, and nothing else. Your work history is a list of rooms other people owned. Overnight stock at a big box store, $14.20 an hour, 11 months. Dish pit at a chain restaurant, $13.75, 7 months. A summer moving furniture for a man who paid cash and rounded down. Rent is $1,275. Your half is $637.50. Phone is $61. The car is $310. And it has been $310 for so long that you no longer think of it as a payment. You think of it as weather. You apply on a Tuesday. Someone calls you on a Tuesday. That never happens. The interview is in a parking lot behind a storage facility, on the industrial side of town. No office. A white cargo van with a magnet sign on the door, and a woman leaning against it, drinking coffee out of a gas station cup. Marisol Vega, 41, hair back, sleeves rolled, forearms like she has been doing this since before you could drive. She does not ask about your work history. She does not ask where you see yourself in 5 years. She asks you one question. Can you eat lunch after? You say yes, because you are 24, and you think the question is about your stomach. She hands you a clipboard, background check consent, a tax form, a 1-page safety acknowledgement you sign without reading. Then she says, you start Thursday, 7 in the morning, this lot. You ask what the job is. She says it is cleaning. Then she says a word into her phone, to somebody else, while you are still standing there. She says, it was an unattended. She does not explain it. You do not ask. You will find out on Thursday, and you will never unlearn it. Thursday, you get a suit. White, disposable, hood, booties. $6.40 each, and you will wear 2 on a bad day. Gloves, doubled. Safety glasses, a half mask that does not fit you correctly yet, which is a sentence that will matter later. You get in the van. 90 minutes of driving. The clock on your check does not start until you arrive, which you do not know yet, and which is worth $26.25 of your life every single morning. The building is ordinary. That is the first thing nobody tells you. It is always ordinary. Beige siding, a bent gutter, a wind chime. Inside the door, Marisol kneels down and pulls out a roll of blue painter's tape. She peels a strip and lays it across the hallway floor, wall to wall, straight as a chalk line. She points at the far side. Everything past this is the job. She points at your feet. Everything behind this is your life. Do not carry one across the other. Not on your boots, not in your pockets, not in your head. Then she says the thing you will still be saying out loud to other people, 12 years from now. The line is the job. Everything else is cleaning. You work 6 hours and 40 minutes. You do exactly what she tells you, and nothing more, and twice you go outside and stand next to the van and breathe. She does not comment on either time. At the end, she signs a form on a clipboard and takes a photograph of the room. She does not show you the number on the form. You do not think to look. Your pay for that first day is $17.50 an hour, for 8.5 hours. $148.75, before anything comes out. You think you got hired. You got measured. Level 2. The respirator. The half mask does not count until it fits. And fit is a test. And the test is $85. The company pays for it, which is a sentence they say out loud, and a sentence your check disagrees with. $26 comes out of every pay period, for 12 periods. Equipment. That is the whole word on the stub. Equipment. $312 for a respirator you do not own and cannot take home. You learn the schedule of the trade. Nights and weekends, because that is when people are found. Holidays are the worst weeks of the year, and everybody in the van knows it, and nobody says it. Thanksgiving to New Year's, you will work 23 days out of 30. You also learn what the word meant. Unattended means nobody came. Not for a while. It means the reason there is a job is that there was nobody to notice, and the county called. And now a stranger in a paper suit is the first person through the door in over a month. You learn it by counting mail. 41 days. You count it, because you cannot stop yourself counting it. 3 utility bills, a jury summons, a birthday card with a return address 2 towns over, and 36 pieces of junk that a machine somewhere thought were worth sending to a person who was not there. That is the arithmetic of it. 36 machines noticed, 0 people did. There is a pair of reading glasses on the kitchen table, folded, next to a crossword half done in pen. You are supposed to bag them. Instead, you unfold them and set them upright on the table, lenses down, the way a person leaves them when they are coming back. Marisol sees you do it. She says nothing at all. 9 months later, that 30 seconds is the reason she recommends you for something. You will not know that until much later either. Del Marsh works out of the second van, 54. 19 years in the trade. 19 years buys you $23.40 an hour. It buys you a key to the supply cage. It does not buy you a salary, a title, a share, or a single thing with your name printed on it. Del has a bad shoulder from a stairwell in 2019 and a 2-bedroom he has rented for 11 years at $1,050 because the landlord likes him and has never raised it, which Del describes as the best financial decision of his life, and which was not a decision. Del tells you the rule that takes you the longest to understand. The suit protects your skin. The paperwork protects your life. They only ever hand you one of them. You do not know what paperwork he means. You think he means the safety forms. You stop telling people what you do. At a cousin's birthday, somebody asks, and you say restoration, and they say, oh, like flipping houses, and you say, something like that. And you eat a piece of cake. Nadia calls on Sundays. Your older sister. She works 12-hour shifts on a med-surg floor for $34.10 an hour, and she has never once lied about what her day was. She asks how work is. You say busy. You will say busy for the next 3 years. The company does not pay you for the 90-minute drive. The company bills the client for it. Level 3. The manifest. In your second year, they teach you to sign the manifest. Regulated medical waste does not go in a dumpster. It goes in labeled containers. It gets weighed. It gets logged. And a document follows it from your hands to an incinerator in another county. That document is called a manifest, and it has a line on it for the name of the person who packed the load. They put your name on that line, not Marisol's, not the owner's. The owner keeps the generator number. You keep the signature. You learn the weights. Disposal runs $2.35 a pound to the hauler. The manifest processing fee is $185 a load. A small job might be 60 pounds. A hoard job can be 4,000. You learn that the client is billed $6 a pound. You do not do that multiplication yet. You are still at the stage where the numbers are just numbers. Then comes the driveway. 2-story house. Nice street. The kind of block where the recycling bins all match. The family is outside, because the county will not let them back in until it is cleared. A daughter, maybe 40. A husband holding her elbow. A boy on the lawn who has been told to stay by the car. The daughter asks what it costs. Marisol says the office will send an estimate today. The estimate is $9,400. The daughter calls the office from the driveway, on speaker, because she does not know she is on speaker. She says she has $1,200 and a credit card with maybe $2,000 on it. She asks if there is a payment plan. The voice on the phone says they can do 6 months at 11%. Nobody in that driveway says the word insurance. Not the office, not Marisol, not you, because you have no idea. Her homeowner's policy would have covered $8,600 of it, under dwelling. She pays for 4 years. There is a woman standing at the end of the driveway in a black car coat, who has been there 20 minutes. Ruthie Baptiste, 63. She runs the funeral home 2 miles down the road, and she is there because the family called her first, which is what families do. She watches the whole phone call. She watches you carry boxes out to the truck and set the mail in a box instead of a bag, which you started doing on your own and which nobody taught you. On the way out, she puts a business card in your hand. Cardstock, heavy, her name embossed. She says one sentence. Families do not remember the room. They remember who was quiet in it. You put the card in your wallet behind your insurance card, and you leave it there for 2 years. That night, you count the crew because you cannot stop counting things now. 11 people have worn a suit out of Marisol's 2 vans in the 4 years the branch has existed. 4 quit inside 90 days. 2 were let go. 1 moved states. 1 is Petey Doran, who is 23 and started 3 weeks ago and calls you sir by accident. 2 are you and Marisol. 1 is Dell. 11 people. 0 own anything. You think this is the hard part of the job. The rooms. It is not. You are 2 months from finding out what the hard part is. Level 4. The invoice. The office printer is in the hallway by the bathroom, and one afternoon in March, somebody sends a job to it and walks away. You look because it is sitting there, and you are a person. It is a job you worked. You recognize the address. 11.5 hours. 2 technicians. 1 hydroxyl unit. 4 days of equipment rental. 214 pounds of waste. Total build. $9,400. You were on that job for 11.5 hours. You made $201.25. You stand in a hallway by a bathroom and you do the division against your will. You were 2.1% of that invoice. The equipment sitting in that house for 4 days billed more than you did. The paperwork billed more than you did. The drive time you were not paid for billed $340. Something comes loose in you that afternoon, and it never fully seats again. That is also the month the bank gets you. You are $11.20 short on a Tuesday. The car payment hits before the deposit clears. $34 overdraft. Then a $6.99 subscription hits the same negative balance, and that is another $34. $68 in fees for being $11.20 short. You call the bank, and a polite person says the fees are correct. They are correct. That is the part that stays with you. Nothing that happened to you that Tuesday was a mistake. It was the product working. Then Petey, a couch cushion on a job in April. No fit test that morning, because the tech was out sick, and the schedule was tight. And Petey reaches where you are never supposed to reach without looking. Sharps in the seam. 8 months of testing. 3 rounds of medication, every appointment on a weekday. The company tells him he is classified as an independent contractor, which is a sentence nobody said to him on the day he signed anything. No workers' comp, no wage replacement. He is 23, and he is out $19,000 in lost wages and $4,100 in bills for a job that paid him $18 an hour. He is fine, medically. Every test comes back clean. He is not fine. And then, in June, they send you to an apartment building on Delacroix, which is 3 blocks from the house you grew up in. 61 years old. Lived alone. Retired from a job he had for 19 years. 41 days of mail. On the counter, there is a receipt from the same big box store where you worked overnights at 19. Same store number. He shopped there on a Sunday morning and bought coffee filters, batteries, and a birthday card he never addressed. There is a pair of reading glasses on the arm of the chair. You unfold them and you set them upright on the side table, lenses down, the way a person leaves them when they are coming back. Then you go out to the van, and you sit in the passenger seat with the door open and your boots on the asphalt, and you do the arithmetic on yourself. 26 years old, $340 in checking, 1 person who calls you every week. 41 days is not a long time. You are not afraid of the rooms anymore. You are afraid of the mail. Level 5. The card. In August, you take the card out of your wallet. Ruthie Baptiste answers her own phone at 7:40 in the morning, which tells you something about her. She does not need anything from you. That is the part you cannot process for the first 4 minutes of the call. She is not selling. She is not hiring. She has no angle. She says her home refers 3 of these a month. She says the company they use takes 6 days to schedule and talks to families like they are a claim number. She says she has been watching you carry mail in boxes for 2 years. Then she asks the question that reorganizes your life. Do you have your own certification? You do not. You have never even looked at what one costs. That night, you look. A trauma and crime scene technician certification. $1,295. An OSHA bloodborne pathogen course. $89. An applied structural drying certification. $460. Business registration and tax ID filing. $310. General liability insurance, first year, $4,700. Pollution liability endorsement, $8,900. State medical waste generator registration, $940. A used hydroxyl generator, $4,200. An ozone machine, $1,150. An airless sprayer, $780. Total, $22,824. You have $1,340. So you start with the $89 one, because $89 is a number you can hold. You take the course on a Sunday, on a laptop with a cracked hinge. You pass. You print the certificate at a library for 40 cents, and you look at your own name printed on something for the first time since high school. Then in October, you meet Bev Tran. 47. Independent adjuster. Navy blazer, tablet, walks a loss like she is counting floorboards. She is on a job you are working, and she asks you a question about drying times, and you actually know the answer. And she looks up at you properly for the first time. In the driveway afterward, she tells you the thing that is worth more than every certificate on that list combined. 90% of these are covered. Dwelling, personal property, sometimes loss of use. The family almost never knows. The company that quoted them $9,400 out of pocket knew on day one. Then she says the rule. Bill the policy, not the family. You think about a daughter on a lawn, on speakerphone, saying she has $1,200. You go home, and you understand what Dell meant. 19 years too late for Dell. The suit protects your skin. The paperwork protects your life. The paperwork is not the safety form. The paperwork is the certificate, the license, the insurance binder, and the invoice with your own name at the top of it. And you finally understand the multiplier. The multiplier is not a markup. The multiplier is the gap between what a job costs to do and what a job is worth to solve. Your hands are the cost. What Bev just told you in a driveway is the worth. Every hour you work for someone else, you are selling the first one and giving away the second one for free. In November, a landlord calls Ruthie, and Ruthie gives him your cell number instead of the company's. 1 bedroom, small job, 2 days, entirely legal, on a weekend. You invoice $1,650. You keep $1,650. It is the first dollar of your life that did not pass through somebody else's hand on the way to yours. Level 6. The van. The van is a 2011 Cargo, 187,000 miles, a dent in the rear quarter, and a stereo that only plays AM. $6,800. You put down $2,100, and you pay $210 a month to a man in a driveway who writes the receipt on the back of an envelope. You buy the hydroxyl unit used, off a flood restoration outfit that is closing. $2,400 instead of $4,200. You put the general liability on a payment plan, $412 a month. You skip the pollution endorsement for 4 months, which is the single stupidest risk you take in your entire career, and you know it while you are doing it. Total to open the doors, $11,940. You borrow $3,000 of it from Nadia at 0 interest, and you pay her back in 5 months, and you never tell her how close it was. You give Marisol 2 weeks. She does not try to keep you, and she does not congratulate you. She walks you to the lot, and she gives you the last thing she has, which is the rule she never wrote down. Never rush the first 10 minutes. That is where the whole job gets priced. Everything after that is just labor. Then she says good luck and goes back inside. Month 1. $9,200 in revenue. 4 jobs. All from Ruthie. Month 2. $4,400. 2 jobs. You do not sleep that month. Month 3. $16,800. Month 4. $21,400. And you pay yourself $3,000 and put the rest back in. You work 61 hours a week, and you answer the phone every single time it rings, including at 2:40 in the morning, including at your sister's birthday dinner, which she forgives you for, and remembers. You get on the coroner's referral list. It costs nothing. It takes 14 months and 11 emails, and it is the most valuable free thing you will ever obtain. You learn to call the adjuster before you call the family. You learn to write the estimate in the format Bev's software eats without a fight. Your approvals come back in 2 days, while your old companies come back in 9. You are not better at cleaning than Marisol. You will never be better at cleaning than Marisol. You are better at the paperwork. In year 2, Dell calls you. 56 now. The shoulder is worse. The branch cut hours. He asks if you have anything. You pay him $31 an hour, which is $7.60 more than 19 years of loyalty got him. And he is so relieved on the phone that you have to end the call quickly and sit in the van. That night, you write on a piece of paper. Never be the invoice somebody else signs. Level 7. The roster. Year 3. You have 6 vans, 11 people, and a shop with a roll-up door that you rent for $2,900 a month. Year 1. $214,000. Year 2. $680,000. Year 3. $1.4 million. Year 5. $3.9 million. Payroll is $28,400 every 2 weeks. Insurance is $47,000 a year, now that you carry every endorsement that exists. Waste hauling is $9,100 a month. You have a bookkeeper, a dispatcher, and a lawyer you call twice a year. The rules go on the wall by the door because 11 people cannot read your mind. 10 minutes before you touch anything. Mail goes in a box, never a bag. Glasses, photographs, and anything with handwriting on it goes on a table upright, not in the truck. Call the adjuster before the family calls you. Nobody works without a current fit test, and the fit test is on the company, and the company is you now. Every new technician gets a roll of blue painter's tape on day 1, and every new technician gets told what the line is. And by the 4th year, you hear your own sentence come back to you out of somebody else's mouth, on a job site. The cost is that you stop going in the rooms. You are on the phone. You are at the shop. You are with an adjuster, or a lawyer, or a bank. Your hands are clean and soft, and you are quietly, stupidly ashamed of that, and you never say it to anyone. There is a month in year 4 when a big carrier goes 90 days late, and you are $14,000 short on a Friday. You pay all 11 people. You do not pay yourself for 6 weeks. Nobody on the roster ever knows. You bring Petey back that same year. He has been out of the trade since the couch cushion. You put him on dispatch and estimating at $24 an hour. No suit, no room, no sharps, ever again. He is better at it than you were. He runs your entire schedule by year 6. Nadia comes to the shop for the first time on a Tuesday. She asks how work is, and instead of saying busy, you talk for 11 straight minutes about carriers and manifests and Petey's routing, and what it costs to keep 6 vans stocked. And halfway through, she starts crying, and neither of you can explain it. She says she has been asking that question for 9 years. Here is what nobody tells you, standing in that first hallway with a roll of tape in your hand. The house never cared who cleaned it. The invoice cared very much who signed it. Same rooms. Same mail, same 41 days, 2 completely different prices, and the only variable was whose name was at the top of the page. Level 8. The signature. Year 8. A regional restoration group with 14 markets sends a letter. Then a person. Then a lawyer. They want the coroner list, the carrier relationships, the roster, and Petey. You find out the deal is real before your own attorney tells you, because Bev Tran texts you a screenshot of an industry newsletter at 6:50 in the morning, with 3 words under it. That is you. The number is $6.2 million, $4.4 million cash at close, $1.8 million in an earnout over 3 years, and you stay 18 months as a regional director, which is a title you did not have on any of the days it would have helped. You sign at a conference table on the 14th floor, with a view of the river. It takes 9 minutes. Somebody brings in a tray of pastries that nobody touches. After tax, and after the lawyer, you are worth $5.8 million. The house, $612,000, no mortgage. The shop building you bought in year 6, $840,000. Retirement, $390,000. The rest sits in an account you check less often than you check the weather. Dell holds 1%. At close, that is $62,000. He looks at the wire confirmation on his phone in a parking lot and he says 19 years and then 8. He does not say it bitterly. That is the part that stays with you. Marisol has her own 2 vans now, out of a different city. You send her a text and she sends back a thumbs up. And that is exactly the right amount. Ruthie Baptiste retires the spring after. You go. You sit in the back. You do not say anything to anybody about what one business card did. Here is what does not leave. You still set glasses upright. In hotel rooms. At your sister's house. In your own kitchen. Without deciding to. And you open your mail the day it arrives. Every single day. Not most days. Every day. For the rest of your life, because you have counted 41 days of it stacked on a counter, and you know exactly what that stack means, and exactly what it costs to make it stop. Your accountant thinks that is a discipline. It is not a discipline. It is a scar with a good haircut. The last morning of your 18 months, you go to the lot behind the storage facility on the industrial side of town, because that is still where the new people report. There is a kid there. 19, maybe 20. Bad shoes. A phone with a cracked screen. A backpack that is way too big for a shift. They ask you what the job actually is, because the listing did not say. You reach into the door pocket of the truck, and you take out a roll of blue painter's tape. $4.19. You put it in their hand. You say, lay the line. You watch them kneel down and run it across the concrete. Crooked. About 4 inches off square at the far wall. You do not fix it. You get in the truck, and you sit there for a second with your hand on the key, and you watch a person who has $211 in checking take the first step of 8 levels they cannot see the top of. Then you drive.